Good afternoon. It is January the 7th, Tuesday, and we are officially less than 48 hours away from the beginning of this very, very long, treacherous winter storm that is going to begin its journey out in the Texas Hill Country. We already have winter storm watches for portions of North Texas, stretching from Graham, Fort Worth, Dallas, McKinney, Sharon, going all the way up to Oklahoma, Ardmore, Ada, all the way up to Fort Smith, Little Rock, Arkansas, and back down to Shreveport. This could expand and will expand eastward as far as more counties being introduced a little bit southward. That's looking a little bit less likely due to a lot of models now starting to agree that there might be a little bit more warm air advection. I know there's been posts out there about the NAM model just going absolutely bonkers. Initially, it was showing an all-out crazy snowstorm here in Dallas. The totals reaching half a foot to a foot of snow, and now it's showing Dallas barely getting anything, but I wouldn't really trust that to begin with. That's just one model, and at that point, that's going to be the outlier. But like I said, we officially have winter storm watches in place. A brief discussion by the National Weather Service is going to be for heavy snow and mixed precipitation possible, total snow accumulations between 3 to 6 inches, and ice accumulations around 1/10 is possible. Obviously, isolated areas that get set up under these bandings that have colder temperatures will see a more abundance of accumulation of snow rather than just a slushy slop of ice, which is going to be honestly more dangerous if we have that in Dallas, and that's looking a little bit more likely now based on some of the model trends, but we'll just kind of have to wait and see because, in Texas, it's very hard to predict winter weather even 24 hours out. Where is it going to be for portions of north, central, and northeastern Texas? Impacts are going to begin late Wednesday into Wednesday night and really get cranking Thursday morning into Thursday afternoon and really tapering off by midday Friday. Like I said, roads, especially bridges and overpass, will likely be slick and hazardous, and travel at sometimes could be nearly impossible. So, with that being said, like I said, we don't have any warnings yet. There's no winter storm warnings, but I do expect a couple of these warnings to begin to be introduced here within the next 24 hours by tomorrow morning at the very latest. Alrighty, now jumping over to this not so beautiful but very colorful map, and the only reason I say that because this is your overall impact map, and what this kind of does is compile all the data between snow, ice, blowing snow, temperatures, and how much your travel and things like that could be affected from power outages. There's a lot of different things, and kind of compiles it into one big map between different colors from minor to modern to major to extreme in purple. And you'll kind of see what I mean when I say that snow is your best friend when it comes to a winter storm, because at this point in time, the way the models are shaping up, obviously there's still a lot of a disagreement, and we'll go over that here in just a sec, but a lot of the models has a lot more heavier snow totals, a lot more north of the DFW area now going into Oklahoma, the Arkansas area, but you'll notice that even though that's where the highest snow totals might be, as of right now, the transition zone between where the temperatures are battling between hot and cold and freezing temperatures are going to be right along in this area. Right along in this area where this purple is, going into Tyler, Longview, and out towards Monroe a little bit. And this is going to be the area where it's not quite cold enough to get snow, so it's going to fall in the form of freezing rain and ice, which is a lot more deadly and dangerous than just snow. So this area out here could experience very significant travel delays, pretty much almost impossible at that point if it did. And this map is subject to change, mind you. We'll probably go back and look at this tomorrow, and it's going to be completely different a little bit. So take it with a grain of salt because there's still a lot of uncertainty. Alrighty, we're going to begin with the GFS model because this one has definitely been back and forth as far as who's going to see the most snow, where the snow is going to fall, and the biggest totals. And right now, out of a lot of the models, the GFS is seeing a lot more warm air convection moving into this event. We're going to bring this forward in time about Thursday, 0Z, and you'll notice, temperatures in the Dallas area, not even freezing at this point. We'll push it into the later half of Thursday, going into Thursday night, and, we're all right on the borderline of freezing is what the GFS is saying. So the GFS thinks that we're not going to have a lot of freezing temperatures, and a lot more of the actual snowfall accumulation is going to be pushed a little bit further north. That's what the GFS thinks at this moment. Like I said, the last couple runs, it was a lot more snow totals. Then it went from the west and east and north, and it's kind of been all over the place. So again, It is subject to change. Now, let's say the GFS situation and scenario actually unfolds and happens, which I'm starting to lean towards the GFS model runs just a little bit, only because I am seeing a little bit more warm air advection, and I am seeing it occurring a little bit more during the daytime hours, I guess, per se, of Thursday, which obviously the daytime hours are going to be, you're going to have your high temperatures. They're going to be lower than nighttime, so they're going to struggle with that, getting it below freezing. But regardless of what we end up seeing, I think that the heaviest snow totals as of right now, like I said, this is subject to change and could change, is going to be right between the corridor of the Red River, going down just north of Weatherford and coming all the way back up to Arkansas, just north of Texarkana. I think this area right here, it has the potential to see a foot of snow, especially going into Arkansas. I think this area up here is going to be a little bit of a hot spot, and it's kind of been more consistent on the previous model runs now. So that's another trend we're going to have to watch for. I definitely think, though, as long as the GFS trends, we're going to have a significant freezing rain or icing event somewhere down in this area around here near the DFW area, down near Tyler and Forney, just outside the city limits as well. Now, if you really like snow and less ice, then you're going to love the Euro model, because the Euro model is one of very few models that have actually been consistent with a more widespread totals, and this is one of the models, along with the Canadian model, that has been trending a little bit colder. So at this point in time, as far as forecasting goes, because we all know winter forecasting is one of the hardest things to forecast, especially down in the South when you have so many variables from warm air and such fine lines. And I think at this point right now, I think the opportunity for a lot more cold air to get set in place here to really like bottom out it's about a 50-50 chance at this point. The question again lies, how far south? Like, how small is that gradient going to be? The Euro model takes it a lot further south than I think we will get. I don't think it's going to be snow this far south. We're probably going to be more of a wintry mix from rain, sleet, snow, and ice. But I mean, you can see here on the Euro model, Paris, 14.8 inches, Plano, 10 inches, downtown Dallas, 8.3 inches. Why not? I mean, it's 2025 and we're in Texas, so anything's possible at this point in time. But I think the opportunity for there to be a lot of snow is in place. Like, the moisture's there. We just have to get that cold air. And unfortunately, some of the models are starting to lean towards more warm air advection, which is, like I said, end result is going to actually make more of a dangerous situation, because we're going to be borderline freezing, and you're going to have rain coming down, freezing on contact, on top of sleet. And then when it does get cold enough for that, maybe a couple inches of snow at that point is going to fall on top of that ice. And it spells a recipe for disaster. So either way you look at it, I think this is definitely going to be a very, very bad winter storm for North Texas. Regardless if you get snow or not, you're going to get something. Trust me. This is not going to play out like the NAM model says, right? And we're not going to see nothing absolutely at all. I think that's, like I said, false advertisement by the NAM. But we're just going to have to wait and see, because there's still a lot of uncertainty that lies in the forecast. Here's something else that we can also take a look at, just because of how much uncertainty there really still is, and this is going to be the GEFS Ensemble. And this is a model that kind of compiles a whole bunch of different other model runs and models and puts it into one, right? And kind of gives us the mean, the average of what it thinks the outcome is going to be. So instead of just looking at, 2 individual models or 4 individual models and trying to go back and forth and look at them like we just did, we can also look at this. And this kind of paints the picture of the mean, what the model thinks. And this has trended more north as well. The mean has ever so slightly pushed more north. About 2 days ago, this had, over 6 to 8 inches down here in the DFW area, way more out here in western Texas as well. And now it's pushed it all more north into Oklahoma, Arkansas, right around this area near Little Rock, picking up on 6 inches, about half a foot of snow, and pretty much the DFW area being on that borderline of maybe only an inch or two, between 5 to 6 inches. So it's going to be a very small, fine gradient when it comes to the snowfall. But there's like I said, there's still so much uncertainty, and we really can't put a lot of our funds into this, because it's one of those things where this might come down to the actual day of the event, and we will just have to see how things unfold. We can only predict so much, because there's only so much historical data that we can go by when forecasting these models, especially down here in Texas. So as a final key message for this video before we close this session off is that, if you're in Arkansas, prepare for 6 inches of snow anywhere in Arkansas. If you're in Dallas, down here, northern Texas along the Red River, still prepare for 5 to 6 inches of snow, even though it's seeming more or less likely. It's just, like I said, there is so much uncertainty. We're going to kind of go over some of the shorter range models when they do come out, but like I said, I'm still not buying a lot of the snowfall totals and positions where they're at just yet until we really get down to the day of, and it's just that's how it's going to be, unfortunately. Like I said, I don't want to hype this event up by any means. I want to be transparent as possible, because I know a lot of people out there are probably going to put content out there showing, oh, we're still going to get a foot of snow in Dallas, or only showing that one model, right? Just like the Euro, even though it still shows almost a foot of snow in Dallas, it's like, we can't just look off that one model run, because that's only subject if we have that colder air in place, and if the system up north interacts with the system down here in south in time. The quicker it does that, the quicker we're going to be able to see a lot more snow down here develop in northern Texas versus way out here in the east. But that's going to conclude it for today's video, guys. I appreciate y'all watching. If you liked the video, definitely like it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It's free. Turn on bell notifications for future videos like these, and we will continue to break down this forecast until the day and the day of the event to help y'all get through this. Just start preparing now, like I said, for 6 inches of snow, and we'll get through this together. I love y'all. I appreciate it, and I'll see y'all in the next video.